Hello and welcome, and thank you for joining our stamp camp this time round with the amazing magical Meadow suite. My name is Heather Thomas. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Fareham in the United Kingdom, so that's right on the south coast, and I'm here today to show you how to make this card. So in your pack you should have a piece of basic white cardstock. This is the thick, and you should have a piece of the foiled designer series paper from this is from your stash. So this will be in your pack. You'll have some card for stamping, and you'll have some card for die cuts, and you should have a die cut already cut for you. This is the stylish shapes. So you're going to need to cut a piece of the foiled designer series paper. I've used the darker kind of pretty peacock. I don't really know what colour it is, to be honest, but it's gorgeous with the snowflakes on. And we're going to cut that to 14 centimetres by 10. All of your imperial measurements are in the instructions, so have a look in your instructions for your measurements. And we're just going to pop that straight onto the card front. Like so. With a foiled cardstock, actually multi-purpose liquid glue isn't the best thing to use, but because we're covering most of this up, it will be fine. It can just leave little marks in the foiled, so a tape runner, something like that is better. Then you're going to need this little piece of design series paper. This is 8 by 14, so just a bit narrower than your underneath foiled cardstock, and that's going to go on the middle. I love this one, and I love the background as well. Look, I've literally only just started. I've managed to get glue everywhere. Just trying to make it, I maybe have cut that tiny bit shorter than the one underneath, so you can just see the top poking through, but that's okay. There we go. Then you're going to want to die cut. I've been nicknaming this one the Twiggy Berry die because it's the one with twigs and berries. There's the one with twigs on its own, but you want the one with the berries on for my card here. We're going to want 2 of those, and we're going to want 2 of just the standard holly leaf as well. Just poke out that last little bit. So we're going to want those. We'll put those to one side, and then we're going to do some stamping. And I'm just using one colour of ink. I'm using 2 overall, but just for the decoration, we're just using one colour. That's Lost Lagoon. And I've got this again, I'm calling the Twiggy Berry stamp because it's got twigs and berries. I'm going to cut 2 of these. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to use both of them. But you have some card for stamping. It's probably not the same size card as mine. Now, if this is a little bit dark for you and you want it lighter, it depends how juicy your ink pad is. You can grab a sponge and you can sponge the ink on. And then when you stamp, you get a lighter effect. Can you see the difference? But again, if your ink pad is dry, you might not want to do this. It might come out fine. Or if you don't mind it a bit darker, you can just sponge those on. Now they do have die cuts, so you can die cut those as well. And we're going to do the same with this one here. This is the berry stamp. Again, stamp it straight or use the sponge, whichever you fancy. If you haven't got these sponges from Stampin' Up, they're amazing. Love them. While I've got the inks and everything out, I'm just going to stamp a sentiment onto the die cut here. This is the Stylish Shapes die cut, like I say, and we're going to use May this season of sparkle bring joy and delight. So this is in Pretty Peacock. Just makes it a little bit darker, makes it stand out a little bit more. Try and get that straight. That's not too bad. It's positioned a little bit high. Bring it down a little bit, but that's okay. I'm not going to sit here and recut a sentiment panel for you. Okay, So now I just need to find the dies again. Oh, I was very organised. My desk is very tidy actually. Here they are. I tidied up, ready for this video. But anybody who knows me knows I'm a little bit messy, a little bit untidy. Okay, so we've got the die to cut out these and the die to cut out these. So if I trim them in half, separate them, I'll be able to do this in 2 passes through the cut and emboss machine. So if you just bear with me. I'm not one for editing my videos, sorry, so it just takes far too long. So I won't be 2 seconds. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying your stamp camp. It's a wonderful suite we're working with. It drew me instantly, and I've made loads of alternative projects because I actually held my retreat, my online retreat, using this suite. So yeah, I've been playing with this one a lot recently. Okay, so here's the first of our stamped images. There's one, and there's t'other, as I would say if I was still living up north. Sometimes my other half says my northern accent comes back. I was born down the south of England. Anybody who doesn't know England, there's quite marked accent differences. I mean, like there is anywhere in the world. But it's quite funny to hear it come back sometimes. Okay, and here's the second lot of our... Oh, I just dropped the die. I've got to be careful not to run over the die with my wheelie chair. So let me just grab that. I've done that once before. Not good. Okay, let me just double check the camera. Yeah, you can see what I'm doing. So I've got 2 of those, 1 of those, 2 of those, 2 of those, and 2 of those. So what we're going to do is bring back in our piece here, and we're going to start to layer up the underneath foliage. So I'm just going to, you might need to chop off. So this is where you need to kind of think a little bit, what's the word I'm thinking of? Strategically. So I'm just going to chop off. Now, the way to do it is to kind of think, where is my sentiment going to go? And how much of that do I need to chop off so that it's not visible underneath? So if it's easier, have your sentiment strip in place where you want it to go. And then I know roughly it's about there. And then that one we can see is going to fit underneath there as well. Okay. And then you can go ahead and stick those down. They're going to go down flat. And the way I do it, once I've got it in place, just kind of lift it up, tilt it up, chuck some glue underneath. It hasn't got to be all over. And then you can just position that back down in basically the same place as it came from. And then before it dries solid, just double check. Yep, that looks good to me. Then we can put on our, and again, you'll probably want to chop these down. They're just quite long, which is lovely, but when you want them just poking out, you don't need them quite so long. Oh, all tangled up. Okay, so I'm just going to chop that bottom bit off. There we go. This is very fine with the glue. I've gone a bit heavy-handed there, so if you need to spread it out, just spread it out. But the glue is so strong that honestly just a teeny tiny bit will stick it, so don't need to worry too much. And then we can just overlap that, coming off that side on that one, and then we're going to work. So we're going to work round in a fan this way and round in a fan that way on the top one. So just a little bit of glue on there. Make sure I'm still recording. I think I might be. Yep. Okay. I don't normally do these videos on my phone, but my camera has seemed to have suffered a malfunction. So we're stuck. We are stuck with a camera, with a phone. Okay, and then we've got this one here. You can try and tuck it under if you wanted to, or you can just go over the top, entirely up to you. I actually have tried to stick it under a little bit. It may or may not go. Depends how much glue you put on. And again, just chop off the base if you need to. There's honestly not a massive amount of system to my card making sometimes. It's a bit ad hoc, which suits me fine, but I know some people like a little bit more system. So let's move the dead bits out of the way. I'm actually going to stick on my sentiment before I put these on because I want these two to be really visible. So I'm just going to bring that back in, line that up, and we're going to put on some ribbon first. So to make like a faux bow, all I'm going to do is go as if I was tying a bow, but I want quite big loops. So I'm actually just going to do 3. So basically you take it up, fold it back on itself, and fold it back on itself again. And if that's roughly the right length, we're going to go on an angle, then we can chop that there like that. Now you've got a couple of options as to how to stick this down. One of the easiest ways, just lay it across the top. I'm totally not prepared for this though. So while I hold it in place, just grab some tear and tape. Or some red tape. I've only got red tape because it's at the top in my drawer. Tear and tape would be fine. And then grab yourself a length, hoping that's just about long enough, and then just lay it over the top. As long as you've got it long enough to cover the top and the bottom, that will stick it down. And then we'll take the backing off just so that we've not got any red, but that's about right there. So tear and tape, or you could put some tape runner underneath. That's the other way, but it's a little bit difficult to put tape runner underneath with the die cuts and the stamped images there. It's a little bit more tricky. So I just need a helping hand for that there. Now to stick your sentiment over the top, we've got quite a bump in the middle here. When I stuck this one down, I found that it was a bit lumpy and bumpy. So what I'm going to try and do is put 1 dimensional in the middle and then 2 on either side. It's going to make it a little bit more raised. So 1, 2, and we're actually just going to take these off and then put another 2, 1 here and 1 here. I'm hoping that's going to really help it stick down. And the other thing, you don't want it to stick to the ribbon, you want it to stick to the cardstock and the paper. If it sticks to the ribbon, all that's going to happen is it's just going to lift off. So I can tell we've got that in the middle because I can just about see a piece of design series paper either side. That's stuck down beautifully on the paper, and it's the right height as well. So then we can go and add our holly leaves. Again, just a teeny bit of glue. That'll poke under there. If you need to take off a little bit of the base of it, you can do. You can just chop a little bit of the base off if you need. Now, if you don't like that one there, I don't actually like that one there. It just looks a bit off. I actually put it under here. You can't see it so well, but I think it just didn't look right being there. So, and then all we need to finish us off is some sparkle. These gems look quite good. They're lovely and big. They look great as the centre of a flower or something, but this set obviously doesn't have any flowers with it. So one of the really nice things to try and do with them is hide them under... Oh, that's got stuck properly. So I'm using the silver ones in the middle. Almost hide them underneath the die cuts and the stamped images, because that one can go bold, but otherwise they can look a bit dominant. So I'm just tucking them underneath, and it hides them a little bit, so you get a really, really pretty result. There we go. That is my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you love the Stamp Camp and thoroughly enjoy working with this amazing suite of products. So thank you for joining me. Enjoy the rest of the day if you're watching live, or just have fun. Enjoy your rest of your day if you're watching on the catch up. Thanks everybody. Take care. See you later.